You do not walk through grief and come out the other side. It's not something you complete and then leave behind. You walk with it, carrying it all along the way. Life goes round, but never over it. On January 8, 2009, Lasantha Vikramatunga, editor of the Sunday Leader, was driving to his office when two men on motorcycles came after him, and then he was attacked in broad daylight in Colombo streets. It has been 17 years since the assassination. We have today with us his brother Lal Vikramatunga. Welcome to our program, Mr. Lal. So he was the youngest of three sisters and two brothers, and his loss reshaped the family forever. Lal, after 17 years, how does your family live with this loss? I'm sure you have never get over it. How does it feel now?
No. Life, one thing is, once you're born, nobody is going to get out of this place alive. We accept that. But that's of natural causes. Something unnatural like that of a murder, one never gets over, particularly when it's a member of your family. And for no fault. And it has been hard on the family. I remember after a while, little short while, my father stopped talking. And he passed away. My mother could never get over it. And Lasantha's children and family were hardest hit because he was the leading member of that family, and their comfort zone was gone. So they're still suffering. And as for us, we lost the youngest in the family. So it's something we live with every day.
So you have previously said that four governments have failed to act on this murder and bringing justice to this. So as you think, what was missing all along? Was it just evidence or was it political will?
Well, at the beginning, definitely it was unwillingness of that government during the time Lasantha was killed to do that for obvious reasons. Thereafter, it was there was no political will. The next government didn't want to lose votes because what was marketed was a thing called war heroes of the army. And we all not only suspect, we are aware that it was the army intelligence that carried out the murder. So there was no political will to follow that. Now we feel this government would like to do it, but whether there is support from the army and the Attorney General's department, I'm not certain, because the suspected people lead up to fairly high up in the political ladder.
So since you mentioned the Attorney General Department, in last year there was a protest, like a massive protest against the department because they decided to release suspects that was connected to the incident. So how did that affect your trust in the system?
Well, we didn't have much trust in the system anyway. But that was outrageous, because we knew that there was, if some of those suspects, if they were not directly involved, there was evidence they were part and parcel of a cover-up, or were part of the organization that and involved with it. So it was shocking to see that. When we see many people who are still languishing in remand without charges being brought for years on end, how something like that could happen. But it was reversed.
Yeah.
So then you begin to wonder how such things can happen.
So when you go to the investigations that have been happened so far, there's this missing notebook, the unusual telephone number, and the motorcycle tossed into a lake. And also there was a person who exactly knew where to find it also. So there's now, the CID is now conducting a new investigation apart from the investigation that have been happening for years. So why is that important to you? Right?
Yes, one needs closure on this. The family needs closure. And apart from Lasantha, there are so many other emblematic cases like Tajuddin's, Eknali Goda's, assault on Keith Noya, Upali Tennakone's, Ravi Raj murder. I mean, endless, endless. These are all in the minds of people. And as a nation, if we don't come to terms that there is law and order, what do we look like in the eyes of the rest of the world? We are such a small community. If we can't sift these things out, I think as a nation we have failed. But it's so long since Lasantha's thing, and we all know even the names of the people involved. But it's the evidence need to be tied up. But I think there is political will more than before now, and that is why I mentioned it. They can't do it by themselves. You need the other arms of government, including the Attorney General's department. Uh, they should get going with it.
So many believe that Lasantha was killed because of his journalism. It is the truth, of course, as I believe also. So there was this clear motive behind Lasantha's killing, of course, and there was this preventing of him testifying against a powerful figure. How dangerous was it at that time to speak against the regime and to fight against it?
Well, no regime likes criticism, particularly in countries like ours. But that doesn't mean you have to kill. But that's the basis form. I mean, humans don't. If humans lead that so far down to that levels, then there is no difference between animals and humans. So, political politics in Sri Lanka is different. It's about staying in power at any cost. So, if you have to eliminate somebody, that's also the cost one has to pay. They feel right.
So there's this culture of impunity that runs along over the years in Sri Lanka. It can be seen with the murders of journalists and also human rights activists also. So in this particular case, 4 people have been already assassinated or murdered just as cover-ups for the investigations. So how deep do you think this culture of impunity runs?
Well, you mentioned impunity. I think in Sri Lanka, it's not only impunity, it's the apathy of the people also. They don't care. People think they are what I call, they think they are all right. As long as it doesn't bother us, we don't care. You can't build a society like that. Why laws are there, why procedures are there, is to have a cohesive society where everyone can live in harmony. So if people don't care about that, this is what you get. You get leaders who can do anything.
So we came to a point where, which Lasantha also mentioned, that then they
Came for
me.
Yeah.
That was what he was highlighting also. So you have previously mentioned that Aragala had to happen.
Yes, I mean, it's an interesting question. For 20-something years, we have been writing about corruption, non-adherence to good governance. You see, corruption you can't do, politicians can't do it by themselves. Somebody else also, even the corporate sector gives. So it's, hand-in-hand thing. But Aragala, I have two thoughts. When we said that, as I said earlier, people didn't care. As long as it doesn't bother us. But when they didn't have gas in their homes, kerosene in their homes, no fuel in the car, uh, they didn't look for the reason. We were giving reasons for 20 years. But when that happened, they got on the streets and chased the president. If they were listening to us, it wouldn't have happened.
So Lasantha, in a way, warned about unchecked power, impunity, and the danger of silence. So, looking at the what Aragala and what followed after, do you believe the movement kind of fulfilled his vision, or is Sri Lanka still in the middle of the struggle?
It's an interesting question. Yes, I think it changed. I can go back and say, when Jayajayawardena won, he opened the doors, he opened the economy. Thereafter, there were leftist governments. They couldn't close the economy. So, when this thing happened with the Aragala, now people expect governments to be honest. People want answers. And I think that may not change. I hope so. It stands. And that this government will at least, they can't do everything in 1 year. But if they stop corruption, if they prevent malpractices and so on, and people fall in line with order, from walking on the streets to driving properly and so on, there is social acceptance. It's a beginning.
So, when talking about accountability that you're seeking for, what actually is you looking for in this case?
We are all accountable in some way or the other. And as I said, been saying, no government comes into power. No politician comes into power. They are elected by the people to serve. As sooner they learn that, is better for the country. And I think we have taken the first steps. Let's see.
Yes. So you have expressed hope in the current NPP government and the renewed CID roles. So what are your expectations now, and what would you say to the public watching this?
Support good governance, but question the government when it needs to be questioned, because people are supreme. You elect your representative to serve you, but you must also follow the rules. You can't always wait with your hand out for freebies and expect the government to do everything. No, governments cannot do business. Every human being has some talent. So the people of Sri Lanka must forget this island identity and start. They are creative people. They are knowledgeable people. They can perform. I see Sri Lankans overseas performing. But the moment they come back here, they feel the government owes them a living. That must change.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Lal Vikramatunga, for speaking with us so
Thank
openly.
you.
17 years later, the grief is still there. But so is the determination to remember Lasantha, not just for who he is, for what he stood for. So this interview was brought to you by Lake House Digital. We are looking forward to meet you with another insightful discussion. Thank you.